And I'll be like, oh, I was gonna record that.
I meant to do that.
How's it going?
It's going okay. We have so we usually at the landmark, we usually have 1, 2, 3, 4 full-time staff,
Mhm.
and I have an intern, and then we have a part-time 20-hour-a-week person. Right now, as of starting the 1st, we're going to have 2 full-time staff, a part-time person, 20 hours a week. I don't have an intern, and I have 1 student, 20 hours a week. So this is probably my last free day to do anything. So our operations manager retires. Tomorrow's her
Mhm.
last day. And then our outside person, she left in July. She's going to school at I want to say Southwest Texas, but that's not right. Texas State. She went down to San Marcos. So classes are going well. I have 8 students, which I'm shocked. Usually don't have that many in my graduate class, but
Well, our field trip, I'm going to talk about it during the meeting, but it's going to be to Lubbock. So I will be in town. So
I'm glad.
yeah. I just texted Cheryl. Something may have happened at the garden that's making her a little late. But welcome, Rita. How are you doing? Maybe she's having some tech issues. While we wait for Cheryl, I guess I'll do housekeeping. So Cheryl Potemkin is gonna present about story walks today. So, oh, and here she is. So she will do that. But before that, why don't we do a quick round of introductions while Cheryl's getting herself situated here. I think I've met all of you, but just in case, Sarah. But maybe Susan, if you want to talk a little bit about what you do, because I don't know if you've met Rita yet.
I'm at Lubbock Lake Landmark, Rita. I do all the programming for the whole programming for the landmark. I've been there. This year's going to be 18 years. I also teach for the Heritage and Museum Sciences program, Heritage Education and Exhibits Design as well. I've been involved with, well, more so in the early years with Texas Children and Nature from the very beginning. Last few years, I have not been very proactive, but I'm still up here doing my thing.
And she may not be active, but she's in our hearts every day.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, that makes me feel better because I feel like, oh, I'm not, just too much stuff. Ugh.
Rita, are you able to come off mute? Oh, she's still working on her sound.
Oh, great.
Cheryl, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yes, hold on. I just finished an outreach and I'm trying to pull out of the school parking lot before I get trapped in the carpool line.
Oh no. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
But I'm just pulling around to the other lot so that I'm not trapped, and then I'm going to turn on my camera for you guys. In the meantime, I am Cheryl Potemkin. I'm the early childhood program manager at the Fort Worth Botanic Garden, and I am also the manager for our Story Walk exhibit, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Mostly answer questions, I believe, and talk about how to get started, but I do outreach and professional development and on-site programs, and I'm also the Ole, Texas regional coordinator for the DFW area. And Ole, Texas is OLE, Outdoor Learning Environments. And we're trying to get people to, or childcare centers and schools, facilities, to incorporate more nature play into their outdoor spaces. That's the simplest way to put it.
Thanks, Cheryl. And while you're getting yourself situated, I'll do a quick, real quick announcement. So I kind of alluded to this. So we have our Caprock spring field trip coming up. And so we will be going to the National Ranching Heritage Museum in Lubbock. They have a brand new exhibit that's going to be opening up any day now, I think.
It's I think they've already opened that up.
Okay. But we will be out there on April 12th. And so I'll send out an invite with all the information, but we are excited to be taking the field trip to Lubbock this time. We've done Midland and we've done Alpine. And so we are excited to do Lubbock. So
Well, you need to come over to the landmark. It's only 2 miles away.
I am planning on probably making a weekend of it and just
Good.
hanging out in Lubbock.
That'll be good. Hopefully it'll be nice and you can,
Yeah.
maybe we'll have some flowers by that time. Who knows?
Yeah.
That'd be good. Or a horned lizard or two. You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Good, good, good. That's great. Oh. Cheryl, John Falk is at the museum this week or next week. I can't remember. And I was thinking about when he was with us in Van. And then I was thinking about that might be the same year you had your first baby was there. Don't you think so? All cuddly.
All cuddly. Yeah, because I have fall babies and I had them 3 years apart. I had both babies in Van.
Oh, that's
so yeah,
right.
I can't remember which baby was John Falk. And you're gonna love this, Susan. My youngest baby is a middle schooler. Uh-huh. And my biggest baby is a high schooler.
Good gosh.
So
how can that be? How
it's a total time warp.
yeah. Those cute little things. They're so cute babies. Anyway.
Yeah, I hauled my babies to all of the conferences. My babies are nature babies, and I still haul them to meetings. They were at our regional meeting that Sarah was at. We had it in person at the Dallas ISD STEM Center, and they were both there, big kids. I drug my teenagers out of bed in the morning and just checked my heart. We're leaving, and my grumbly high schooler looks over at me and she goes, "You really do have the best meetings." I was like, yeah.
That's awesome. And she knows. She's been around. She knows.
Yep. Walked up, got handed a snake. "You're Cheryl's kid, right? Here, hold the snake."
David, I see you just joined us. We're just finishing up introductions. If you are able to introduce yourself.
I was wondering if my camera's going to work. Good afternoon, David Budge, Texas Parks and Wildlife. I am the director of, and my title has changed, of people engagement and inclusion for Texas Parks and Wildlife. And I'm also on the board for Texas Children in Nature, working with the outstanding Sarah Cole. So who can do better than that? Very happy to be on here. Very curious about what you guys are going to share today. So looking forward to it. And I'm going to stop right there.
Well, thank you, David. Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us today. This conversation was brought up actually because of one of the state parks. I believe it was Abilene State Park had a story walk a couple of years ago, and one of our partners really loved it and wanted to learn more about how to do it at their site. Cheryl has learned that she is my go-to when anyone has a question about story walks, as I'll say, "Have you talked to Cheryl?" And so I have invited her to join us today and share her wisdom in having done story walks for 4 or 5 years now at the Botanic Research Institute. of Texas originally, and now it's the Fort Worth Botanic Garden. And so Cheryl, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Yeah, great. So we started Story Walks, I think maybe even 6 years ago. And that started, I had a teammate who was an educator and a former school librarian. And we both had a really big love for tying literacy into STEM and outdoor learning. And I still do have a really big passion for picture books. And I'm very particular about which ones I choose for a story walk. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But story walk is not my concept by any means. It comes from a librarian in a library in Montpelier, Vermont. They came up with the concept as a way to sort of stagger reading. And instead, the idea is, instead of sitting together and reading together, that this was a way to incorporate more healthy activity, more nature engagement with a story that they were featuring from the library. And they made that concept open for anyone to use. They just asked that if you are displaying a story walk, that if you are using that concept, to give them the little couple of sentences of credit. And if you Google Story Walk, you'll find their whole biography in that Montpelier library system. Just credit the little Story Walk is a concept developed here. It's maybe 2 sentences. So that being said, we thought the concept was fantastic. We wrote for funding to get sort of this permanent signage. Our original idea, because we were developing our own story walk as Brit was merging with Fort Worth Botanic Garden, because we took 2 organizations, came together and created one, that they wanted us to try to feature should feature different parts of the Fort Worth Botanic Garden, which is large. We have about 120 acres and several different feature gardens. So we thought that we would move this signage from garden to garden and pick books that connected with what was happening, because we have native gardens, we have rose gardens, we have vegetable gardens. So we were going to a Japanese garden. So we were going to cycle these through. But the signage, signage holders, the book holders that we wrote for, once we got those all installed, our first garden that we featured was a native garden, native plants, and it's outside of our current paywall. So it's in the parking lot. It's free for everyone, was on our pollinator pathway. And once those were installed, we liked the location, and they were hassle enough to install that we decided we were not moving those. So now our story walk lives in our pollinator pathway, which cuts through our parking lot and connects the 2 buildings, the Fort Worth Botanic Garden building and the Brit building. And I'm really happy that it wound up that way. I like that this is a free feature, that it features a garden that is outside of our paywall. Fort Worth Botanic Garden used to be free admission, and with the merge and the city task force, it was recommended that we move to a paid system to support the garden. So it's really nice that this is still a very accessible piece for the community. And I think from there, I'll move into display options. You can buy more permanent signage options. Ours are the barking dog recommended ones. I think I saw Sarah post the link to Story Walks. We found that signage. That was what we wrote a grant for. It's weatherproof. It's heavy metal with where you sandwich the page in between pieces of acrylic. So it's fairly waterproof. We took it a step further, and we wrote to publishing companies to get the rights to enlarge the page and print them on a weatherproof acetate with UV ink. And that's just from my own past as a graphic designer. I worked in a fast signs right out of college and saw what the Texas sun did to any kind of signage very quickly. So UV resistant inks were important for us because we knew we were going to be leaving our books up for 6 months at a time. If you're doing, but as I'm talking about all of this, there are so many different accessible variables that you can do with a story walk. You don't have to ask for publishing rights. You don't have to have big, heavy permanent signage. You can buy several copies of the book, cut them apart, laminate them, and post them. I've seen story walks where laminated pages are stapled to tree trunks or to fence posts, where they've been printed or taped to that corrugated cardboard, like the plastic cardboard signs, yard signs, and have been made into a story walk in that way, which is very flexible and really quite affordable as well. So there are a wide variety of options to fit your space. A story walk doesn't have to look a specific way. And I like that. And the original story walk concept, they encouraged buying several copies of the book and then cutting those apart to display to ensure that the artist, right, the author and the illustrator, that those copyright, that gets around copyright law and your artists are paid for their work if you're buying multiple copies of that book. So that's the basic concept, and you lay it out on a path to where you're reading through a page at a time together. Usually as a family. We have families or couples come through our story walk frequently, and you just move from page to page. It gets your steps in, and for us, we put a little prompt, an engagement prompt at the bottom of each page, usually connecting. It's a conversation starter for whoever is there together, connecting what is happening on that page to what's happening in the nature surrounding that page. Or it could be a call to action. Can you find a leaf? Or if there's a movement activity, we've included yoga poses or have talked about little tips and facts about which way do snail shells always spiral. So it's really up to you if you want to include an engagement piece on every page. We find that it slows our visitors down. So it increases their time in the exhibit, increases their connection to either the book or nature or both. I think my favorite story is my boss was out on the pollinator pathway and there was a teenage couple that was reading through the book. And the book was round, and the final page talks about planets that are spinning around, that are rotating around in a round pattern. It's like, can you spin around and rotate around each other at the same time? And she caught this little teenage couple trying to figure out their movements and to spin around, rotating around each other like two little planets. It was very cute. So yeah, I really love the idea of story walks as an exhibit. It was fantastic over COVID for us because it was a self-guided thing that was outdoors where people could be spread apart and still feel safe and still interact with us as an education team, that we knew our programs were still reaching the public. So that was a lot of very fast verbal vomit. Do y'all have any questions in terms of, I'm happy to help you brainstorm different ways to display to meet your needs. Is there a place in creating a story walk that you're having a hang up or something that you might be confused about? I'm happy to point you in directions of different solutions. We've approached our story walks so differently, and we did a lot of research, and I've been able to talk to a lot of people. So I've seen a lot of different options manifest. It's been really lovely.
Do you have just one story going on at a time, or do you have them different places? I know you said this one's outside the parking lot, so folks don't have to pay to come in to do, but is that you have others within, or?
It's currently our only one. We will have a second one in our family garden when that opens up in 2026.
Mm.
Cheryl, I'm not sure if you said this, she also rotates them out quarterly. So
Mm.
it helps keep engagement up and that people, oh, let's go see what the new story is.
Yeah. And in terms of that, we also have good community relationships with our public library system. And it's called Read Fort Worth, which is the pro literacy program that partners with the schools and the community and the libraries. So our community partners help us get the word out. If they're doing sort of their summer reading program, visiting the story walk is one of the goals on there, stuff like that. And when we opened our first one, and we'll probably start to have them again now that we're up and moving, but our first book was what was it? A Butterfly is Patient by Diana Hutz Aston, and we were able to sponsor the author to come do a book signing. We had the library there doing library cards. We had a few community partners, so we did have an opening event. And we probably will do that in the future if we're able to connect with authors that we can bring in. We don't always choose a book that's a local author. Diana Hutz Aston just happened to be fairly local for us.
Hi, this is Rita. Can
Hello?
you hear me?
We can sort of hear you.
Okay, I'll talk louder. Is that better?
It's a little better.
Let's see.
I can hear you pretty well.
Is that better?
I can hear you, and I can
Okay.
repeat it for everybody.
Okay. So what ages, do you group your ages according to the book? What different ages have you done?
Okay. So usually I pick a picture book, and I keep the picture books, I would say, are in the literacy range of read alouds, all the way, usually hovers around pre-K reading age. And that's just because of the words per page that I want. Because people are not going to sit and read a big chunky paragraph that comes with those older reading levels. So any books that keep it to just a few sentences per page is probably your best option. And then any STEM or engagement
I think we may have lost Cheryl for a minute. Until she comes back, I will say one fun variation I've seen on this was the San Antonio River Authority did a story paddle. And so they put the signs up along the river so you would see it as you were paddling down the river. So that was one variation I saw that was a different way of doing it and got some engagement in a slightly different way. Any other, I can try to answer some questions while we wait for Cheryl to rejoin us.
No, I like that she has the call to action elements, I think that's cool.
Last year, I know they did their first bilingual book with Senorita Mariposa. So it was all about butterflies. So they've been making some, trying to do things in terms of having the languages in more than one language as well. I also put in the chat a link to kind of the full webinar she did with us about 1.5 years ago, that has lots of the like links and how-tos for putting the story walks together as well.
I have been assigned Stonewall and Fisher County. Can you hear me? No.
Let's see here. Cheryl just joined us again, and she, I think, could hear you better than we can. So maybe we'll have our translator here in a second.
Did you say Stonewall County? Okay, okay, I thought I heard that part. Okay.
Cheryl, welcome back. Sorry we lost you.
Yeah, my phone all of a sudden overheated and shut down. So happy to be back. I don't know where it exactly cut off, but yeah, I choose very simple picture books. And then our prompts, the sweet spot that is in the 3rd through 5th grade range, we write those questions for that age group because we find that those concepts are typically engaging enough for a family group that might have older or younger children to kind of hit in that middle age range.
Does anyone have any projects that you're thinking about a story walk for right now, or?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. We do a spring break fest, come and go since COVID. We've been doing that. It's very successful. We were getting hundreds of kids, or we used to get, we were limiting it because of registration, all this stuff. Something like that for spring breakfast. And then also, even during summer youth programs, we have a journal, we do the whole thing with nature journal. I think having something one of our weeks was really cool. I even can think of some books that I might want to, or even just some legends, not really necessarily a book, but we're also doing something with the library up here in the spring or summer. I don't recall because I don't have my calendar with me. I think I can get back in contact with them. And this would be something that we can do on a regular basis, like Cheryl and them are doing. Because yeah, that'd be a perfect spot to do that.
I wonder too, Susan, if there's an opportunity for the kids who do the journals to then make a story walk with their journals and be able to show off like, hey, this is what we did.
Heck yeah, I'll put that down. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that
especially if they're
grant
doing
evaluation.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, I always create a journal, a nature journal, but also the journal pages that are going with our program for each week, the lessons and stuff. So they all have, really it's for their parents. So the parents can see what they've been doing, all week long. But yeah, incorporating pages of story would be really good. I'm excited, yay.
Yay. And
Thank
I love
you.
the idea of doing the legends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We do a lot of that legends because of, what we do.
y'all do such awesome stuff.
Yeah, I try.
I also want to thank you for Anna, because she talks about her time with you
Anna.
quite a bit.
Anna was so good. Please tell her that I need an intern. I don't have one right now, and I'm missing all my old interns.
Anna is still so good. Anna's
Anna,
totally amazing.
Yeah, we're all real proud of Anna over here, the program. We are. Yes, we talk about her every once in a while. I go down memory lane and see old pictures and go, oh, that's so, oh, there they are. Oh, anyway, had a lot. Yeah,
So,
smart one.
so yeah, yeah, and you had said pages of a book, which you can also do.
Mhm.
I was leading a workshop and somebody else was talking about how to tell, using Storywalk as a way to tell the story of their organization as well.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
so being able to condense it down, and that
mhm,
they had somebody in there, I think their volunteer base,
mhm.
who had condensed their story into engaging bits and pieces, right? That it read like a storybook. They had simplified it down. And so they were talking about how working with another volunteer to illustrate those pieces and to incorporate that into a story walk
Wow.
where they were at.
Wow.
Yeah, just the history of the land and how everything
Right.
came to be. It was like,
Right.
that's amazing.
That's really cool. Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
There's a lot of good ideas out there. And if you get started and get stuck or have an idea and are not sure how to take it or what direction to take it or how to display it or have a question for me, please email me and I'm happy to collaborate on a solution with you. Or I might have heard somebody doing something that could be of value, could help you get unstuck.
Hey, and folks, and I was tuning in because I saw the term story walk. And I was curious about what a story walk was. Some of our state parks are starting to put more information in the parks about how the parks were started, about Native American folks that were in the areas, even some other folks that settled the area. And what we've been doing is just putting information on one board at some point in the park. And we've been talking about how to do a better job of that. One example is in Washington on the Brazos, even putting information about the CCC, who built it, and the different variations and backgrounds of the folks that were part of the CCC. But it would be great if you could do like a story walk or something, akin to that in the park. Kind of give folks a better idea of who actually was important in developing this park. We did a impromptu interview session with a couple of groups. And one of the women that was in the group that, we were talking about engaging in the outdoors, engaging in state parks more so. She talked about, I don't know what my people's role were in developing this. And if I don't see me, it won't be me. And I went, wow, if only you knew. So what can we do differently to tell everybody's story about engaging different parts and different outdoor developments and so forth? So that was kind of my curiosity about it when I saw the word story walk. I said, okay, maybe this might be a way to do something.
Yeah, David, I think that sounds like so very similar to what Cheryl was just talking about with telling the history, but I also wonder if there's a way to like tie in along the trail, like, this is why, like examples of why the indigenous people were settling here. Like, is there a resource or something, like tying that stuff in and making it a full immersive experience as well?
Yeah, it's a very good way to connect a story to a location or to resources. For us, we feature a lot of plants. So we have a story walk for the book called Señorita Mariposa, which is about monarch migration, and we have a few empty slots, empty signposts, where the next time we display Señorita Mariposa, we're going to have printed copies of some of our herbarium specimen of those plants. But it is a very good way to tie that storytelling piece to what surrounds it, and to be able to host that story in the middle of where it's relevant.
Well, Cheryl, I know we are at the time that I promised you we would have you for. But thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your time today and sharing with us.
I'm so happy I could join y'all. I'm sorry. I thought I was going to be in my office, but I got pulled out to facilitate outreach today, and it ended just as this Zoom was beginning. I was like, I can make it work. I can still make it work. I'll call in. So
Cheryl,
thank you guys for inviting me.
it's always good to see your face and talk to you.
Oh, you too, Susan. I miss you so much.
I miss chatting with you. We had such
Yes.
good memories, lots of memories.
Well, y'all call or email if you wind up doing story walks and you want to chat. I'm always happy to hear other people taking this concept and applying it to their place and their mission, because it always looks different and it always feeds my own creativity. So go forth and be wonderful, like I know you are. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Our next thing on our agenda was just some updates. I'll announce again because I don't think David was on the call, but we will have our Caprock field trip to the National Ranching Heritage Center in Lubbock on April 12th. And so we are excited to be out there. Susan, we'll get to see. I feel like it's been so long since I've seen you in person.
You'll get
So-
to come to the landmark and see what we're up to. I don't know.
I will. For sure. We're there in the morning, so I'll have all of Friday afternoon
Yeah,
available.
it's better to be outside in the afternoon up here anyway, so that's perfect. That'll be
Yeah.
good.
And then we have a couple of really great webinars coming up this month. So our first webinar is with Jaime Gonzalez, which I know that he is always a fantastic presenter. And I'll put the link for it in the chat here in just a second. And it is called Building Climate Ready, Wildly Healthy Places in Texas. And so he's going to be talking about some of his work with that. And that's going to be on February 7th.
Okay.
Put the link for that in the chat. And then our next webinar after that, we have a teacher workshop on the 10th. That is with a professor that's actually been working. She's at University of Illinois. But she is going to be talking about learning science and nature, fostering children's learning, well-being, and care for the earth.
No.
And all of our webinars we do record. So if you're not able to make it during the time of the webinar, which I understand all of us are very busy, so that is a challenge. Sometimes we do have the option for it to be recorded. And then we have one, Rita, at the end of the month, we'll have one with one of your DSHS colleagues, Ken Baum, who's with 65 North, I believe. He has been doing a project where they have been putting trail signs out about the health benefits of time outdoors. Specifically mental health benefits, but both mental and physical health benefits, and really trying to inform folks about why healthy outdoor activity is really important. And so he's going to be talking about how they develop those signs and kind of the benefits that they've been seeing with that project as well. And that's going to be on the 28th.
That sounds really interesting.
He I'm not sure if he knew what was going to happen. He came to his first TCNN meeting. I think someone told him you should go and talk about this project. And he got inundated within 30 minutes of emails with folks asking for more information. So yeah, it's been very popular. So those are some of the things that are coming up on a statewide level. David, do you have any kind of state updates as a board member to share? Give you a chance. You don't have to if you don't have any. Okay. We are about to announce our brand new slate of board members, so we're excited. We'll have that announcement out in the coming weeks as well. Also, Susan, I know you were saying that you've got some job openings. As an official partner, you can send those to me and I can put those up on our job board.
Okay.
And then we also have our summer intern and summer jobs email is going to go out in February. So if you want to send me your summer stuff too, if you have it, if you don't, that's okay. We can still put it on the website later.
I hope I have an intern before then. If not, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble with all those kids and just me. It will not be fun at all. But we'll get it. Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So now we've got about 15 minutes left. I was going to open up the floor for any partner share outs. If you have stuff you'd like to share out, or if you have a topic you would like me to recruit a speaker on for next time, if there's something that you have questions about.
I'm not doing anything.
Well, then I guess we are.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I will turn it up real loud and I will try to translate.
Okay. I have been in Stonewall County and Fisher County and talked to the libraries, 2 libraries, and they said kids don't come to the library anymore in their area. So I think the story walks may bring some enthusiasm and interest, and also possibly the backpacks, the nature backpacks. So those are some things that I'd like to, let them know about.
Yeah, okay. So Rita shared that she's been talking to librarians in Stonewall and Fisher County, and they've been having a lack of kids participating in library activities. And so she's hoping that the story walk activity will help bring some more families out. And then also our LEAP backpack initiative as well, which I know we had Marisa talk about that a few meetings ago. And so, yeah, I think that's great. We're very excited to work with our librarians. They are an enthusiastic bunch over there. Any other announcements? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you get to enjoy some beautiful weather this afternoon. I'm not sure what it's like out there. In Austin here, it's a beautiful sunny 70 degrees. So it's hard to ask for anything different.
Yeah, it's real pretty. Yeah, it's pretty here. I have all my plants outside getting some good fresh air today.
If only I could leave and go and hang out in it.
Okay, well, do it. Just walk out the door. Go on.
Go sit in the pavilion, David.
Go do it. Go on.
Take your computer out
They
to the
won't know.
pavilion.
You're getting some out of your car. They don't know. Just walk.
I've got 15 minutes and I gotta do something else, so not enough time.
Just go.
I
Darcy
hope
would
some of
often
you-
have us have meetings out in the pavilion. So I think you could do that.
Well, too many people are doing too many things online. And my
Mm, yeah.
perception is not as good in the pavilion. I would love to do that. Maybe I need to get a, what's it, a little hot spot and put it out there.
Yeah, do that.
Hey, but enjoy it. Was very curious about the story wall. And I think there's some things rolling around in the noggin now about how to do something about it.
Yeah, and David, I think it was Abilene State Park that had the one that someone brought up. So there may be some rangers there that have some experience that they would be willing to share with other folks as well.
Well, I have a person at Kettle Lake. They were looking at doing something like that, and not only doing something around the story war piece, but some of the pieces some of the folks disagreed on. But one of the things that we've been talking about that they are looking at implementing is making it more accessible. So in different areas, you actually either have a little speaker where you can hear if you're visually impaired, you can hear about what happened in this area. And then doing some in another state park, I think it was Goliad, we did the touch thing. So we're
How
getting
about
there.
at Caprock Canyon?
Say that Nick, again.
I said, how about at Caprock Canyon?
Well, we're getting there.
Oh, man, that is a great place. I like that better than Palo Duro Canyon. And I'll
But
tell you
Caprock
why.
is nice. I've
Yeah,
got great pictures when I was out there the last
Oh,
time.
that's
Because
nice.
we
Yeah.
got probably a little too close to some bison.
Oh, man, that's the best part of that place. Well, it's all very pretty, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, as
bison
long
are-
as people understand that they are still wild animals. It's a good-
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
everybody has gotten it. We've had a few injuries, so.
Well,
but-
you know,
but
they're
the
just
history-
right there and they're just so majestic. I just love them.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of folks don't know the history of the bison, and
Yeah.
they were part of the indigenous group of bison,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Isn't it the last Southern Plains herd that's
Yes.
left?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes, they are. And and where I am at, we had ancient bison. So we have evidence of hunter-gatherers butchering the ancient bison 8,000 years ago. So, and up there at Caprock too.
yeah,
There's some, yeah.
it's fascinating.
Oh, Rita, maybe try that again. I saw you talking.
Oh, it's in Kittaquay? It's in Kittaquay? Well, outside of Kittaquay, yeah. It's so pretty. It's just, the drive is so pretty. It's really nice.
Now, it is in the middle of Booga Booga Land.
It is. That makes it nice too.
For some folks. All right, folks. Hey, it's been a pleasure.
It's nice meeting you.
The pleasure's all mine. You all take care until we meet again.
Yes.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.